Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hope all of you are doing well, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be ranking the Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher Batman films. Pretty much the Batman films that, like myself, a lot of people grew up with. And throughout the four films that we have gotten, some have been great, have been a hit, and some have been a miss. So I thought I would do a ranking video, giving you guys what I feel like is the worst and what I feel like is the best. So let's get started. So at number 4, we're gonna start off, of course, the one that not everybody likes, and is pretty much the bad one out of the series, and that is Batman and Robin. I do apologize for the glare. Batman and Robin, the first few times I had seen this, I just did not care for it. It definitely is a terrible movie. But when I recently revisited the film, I got more of a 1960s Batman series vibe than I did anything else. And there's also, some Batman the Animated Series vibes going on as well. And I thought that helped the film just a little bit to make it, enjoyable. I wouldn't say it's great, but it's definitely enjoyable if you have that type of mindset. But it's definitely at my number 4. The acting, there are moments that are great and moments that are just downright terrible. It makes you feel like that, certain scenes were altered. I do feel like that when I watch the film, and I feel like there are scenes that just don't fit, and just feels like there's a lot missing with this film. So it's definitely at my number 4. Now, this is where I'm probably going to get a lot of hate. My number 3 is a film that everybody is gonna say is the greatest out of the 4. It started pretty much the other 3, and that is the 1989 Batman film. And the reason this is at number 3 is because it's not the Batman film I think of all the time. I do love this film, I enjoy it, but it's just, there isn't a whole lot that makes me want to revisit this movie all the time. Jack Nicholson's performance is great as the Joker. Um, Probably one of the best roles he's had throughout his career. Probably on the list of like the top 10 films he's had the best performances. So yeah, excuse me. So yeah, I would definitely say that along this and The Shining and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, he's definitely had a great. This would definitely be on that list of great performances. Um, but it's just one that I've seen way too many times, and as much as I do love it, it's just I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things I don't always have to watch, and I don't know. I wish I could say more. It just not the Batman film that I think of pretty much. Um, but don't get me wrong, it's still a great movie, but not one that I go to quite often. At number 2, we have Batman Forever. Um, I know I'll probably get a lot of hate because I'm choosing this over the 1989 Batman, but this movie I have so much fun with. I think everybody in this movie is great, which is definitely a better step up when it comes to Batman and Robin. Tommy Lee, excuse me, every time I swear, every time I do a video, excuse me, I gotta either burp or something tries to interrupt me. But every time I watch this movie, I just have a good time with it. Tommy Lee Jones's performance is fantastic. I feel like he is a great Two Face, even though he's one out of two Faces that we've ever gotten when it comes to the movies. And Jim Carrey's performance is great. So I definitely feel like there was a lot of inspiration from the 1960s Batman series, because that's pretty much that's pretty much the Riddler we're getting from Jim Carrey, is the 1960s Riddler, which I feel like definitely fits better than having a more serious type of Riddler. Val Kilmer, I think, is great in this. Nicole Kidman, I don't know. I like her character, but at the same time, I just feel like she's dull in this. There's moments where it just seems like she has to. It's like she's hesitating to figure out what she's about to say, and I just didn't care too much for that. Chris O'Donnell is a nice introduction. I thought he was great, and kind of a little origin story in the film for him. But yeah, it's my number two because it is one that I constantly remember more often than others. I saw this in theaters, which is even crazy to think that I had the opportunity to see this in theater and absolutely loved it. So yeah, it's definitely one that I revisit quite often. It's just a fun movie. And then of course my number one is Batman Returns. Anytime I think of the four Batman films, this one always pops up in my head. Um, it's got a great story, I think. Um, I have a special this film holds a special place in my heart. It was the first Batman film I ever saw as a kid. The story is fantastic. The cast is great. I mean, the likes of Michelle Pfeiffer, Christopher Walken, and Danny DeVito are great. Um, I don't think Christopher Walken and Michelle Pfeiffer would go on to do more Tim Burton films, which is kind of crazy to think. But I've kind of noticed that with a lot of his movies, he tends to get a lot of the actors that he has worked with to return, which I thought was cool. Um, but yeah, really enjoyed everybody's performance. Danny Elfman's score is great. My only minor complaint is I feel like there's a few scenes that they could have just done without the score, but that's just a personal preference. The acting's pretty good. There are some little moments that are just like, I don't know about that, but all in all, it's not too bad. You do get a nice cameo by Paul Rubin, and of course the actress who plays the French diner waitress in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. They both make cameos in this at the beginning of the film. Um, what else is there? I like the chemistry between everybody. I thought they blended really well, and I like or not blended, but I think the chemistry worked really well between everybody. What I do like is the fact that yes, they had technically three villains of the film, but what I liked is that it blended well. There wasn't like one character overshadowing the others. I mean, the Penguin's mainly the main villain of the film, with Christopher Walken's character Max Schreck and Michelle Pfeiffer's character. Uh, you know, Even though they're kind of blended into the story, it works perfectly. And to me, just it makes this film really, really good. So, and it just feels like it's a lot more darker compared to the 1989 Batman film. But when I think of the Batman movies, I will always think of this. This is the first movie that pops up in my head. It's one that I tend to revisit way more than any, and just absolutely a favorite. So that's my rating on the four Batman films, with Batman and I'm all over the place on this, with Batman and Robin being the worst out of the series and the least favorite, to Batman Returns being the all-time favorite for me. Thank you guys for joining me on this little ranking video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. I know this video was a little all over the place, but you know what? Let's keep it real. It happens. Comment down below what your rankings are on these films. I would love to know what your favorite and your least favorites are. Also, I will put the links to the reviews for these movies, because I have done reviews on the channel for each film. So we'll put the link to those videos down in the description. I'll also be putting the link to my eBay store, so if you guys want to check out my eBay store, check it out. It would be much appreciated. Trying to turn it into a full-time job, hopefully. See where it goes. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and subscribe. I do collection updates, movie reviews, my thoughts on certain like movie or wrestling related topics, and I also do wrestling videos, mostly prediction videos, or thoughts on certain wrestling things, as I stated before. I do plan to put more wrestling content out there in the near future. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, I will see you in a future video, and I should hopefully have a room tour for you guys. It's not 100% complete, but it will get there. But I figured, now that I am finally moved back in and everything's set up, I will show you guys how it looks. So until next time, guys, I will see you soon. Peace.